Alrighty, lesson 4. Now we're getting into division. Okay, division, which is so cool. You guys learned about multiplication, what factors means, how to do an array, how to find the product, which means the total. Now we're going to do division, and this is our objective. We will be able to understand the meaning of the unknown, and the unknown here is the size of the group in division. So the unknown we are trying to figure out, that's what unknown means. What we're trying to figure out is what is the size of each group, okay? All right. But first, we're going to do our application problem. Now today, I'm going to give you an option to do the application problem with me because it is in your Eureka Math book. And it's on, let's see if I have that right. Yep. It's on page 23. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. So if you would like to open up your Eureka Math book, pause the video, get it out, and you can follow along and write and draw out what we're doing here. Okay, here we go. The student council holds a meeting in Mr. Chang's classroom. They arrange the chairs in 3 rows of 5. So 3 rows of 5. How many chairs are used in all? So I have some important numbers here, right? We have 3 rows, that's important, of 5. And the question is, how many chairs are used in all? That's a key word right there. That means we're going to find the total, right? And we need to use the RDW process. So we're going to read it, which we just did. Check. We're going to draw our problem, and then we're going to write the answer in a complete sentence. So we read it, and we figured it out. Then now we have 3 rows of 5. Do we know the total? No, we don't know the total, right? So we're going to draw this. Let's draw 3 rows of 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Here's my 3 rows, okay? And in each row, there's how many chairs? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I drew my picture, but I know that what I'm doing here, what did I just create? What was that called? Starts with an A. I created an array, right? So I know that I'm using multiplication here. So I had, how many were in each row? The number of rows or number of groups always goes first. 3. How many in each group? We had 5 in each group or in each row. Now I'm going to skip count by 5s because that's how many I have in a row to figure out my answer. 5, 10, 15. So I know my total of chairs all together are 15. So we read it, we drew it, and now we're going to write it. So remember, I'm going too fast. Pause the video. Okay, so here you go. What was his name? Mr. Chang has 15 chairs all together. Or in all would also work. Okay, there you go. Very cool. All right, now get that out of the way. We are going to go dive into division. All right, I have a scenario for you. So yesterday, Mr. Moores came to me and he brought me a new pack of my favorite markers. My students know I love these markers. These are my favorite markers, right? So he brought me this new pack of 12 of them. There's 12 of them. And he shared them with me by dividing them into 2 equal groups. So he got half and I got half, and we had equal groups of markers. Now I have a bunch of new markers for our charts and stuff. So now I get to draw my charts and my anchor charts and stuff like that. Do you want to know how many he gave me? I wonder how many he gave me. Well, let's see if we can try and figure that out. What are we trying to find? Do we know the total here? Right? Do we know the total? We do, right? We know the total is 12. We know that he had 12 markers all together. Do we know how many groups we have? Yes, we do. We know that he was splitting these markers into 2 equal groups. One for him and one for me. So I'm going to use, to figure out how many markers I have now that he gave me, I'm going to use dots to represent the markers, okay? And I know that I'm dividing 12 markers, or 12 dots, into 2 equal groups by giving one to Mr. M. Mr. M is Mr. Moore's, and one to me. One to him, one to me. So let's start counting until we get to 12. So he gets 1, I get 1. 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 He gets 1. Oops, I did it wrong. I can only have 2 groups, 2 rows here. Oh no. That's okay. We all make mistakes, right? Okay, so now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Okay. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now we split these markers into 2 equal groups, right? How many did he get? He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? How many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we each got 6, right? I'm gonna write, this is gonna be so cool because you guys are learning division now. I'm gonna write a division sentence now. So this is my number sentence because we divided 12 markers. I'm gonna set it up. You do not need to do this on your whiteboard, just watch. I divided 12 markers because in division, the total always goes first, okay? We divided 12 markers into how many groups? This is the number of groups. We divided into 1, 2 groups, right? 1, 2. And then let's figure out how many, what was the size of each group? That's what we're trying to figure out. What was the size of each group? Well, I know the size, the markers that I got 6 in my group. And he got 6. So the size of our group is 6. So 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So remember, our unknown that we were trying to figure out, that's our objective, was we're trying to find out the size of the group. Did we find out the size of this group? We did. We found out that I got 6 amazing new markers. Okay. So he gave me 6. He was so nice to do that. So that was our number. So Miss Barksdale was so nice. And she also got 15 markers, new markers at the beginning of the school year. And so she decided to share them with us. And I was so happy about that. So she shared one with Mr. Moore, she shared some with me, and she shared some with herself. So she had, but they were all equal groups, okay? Let's figure out how we can solve this problem first. We're not going to look at that question right there that's on there. So let's solve this problem. How many markers, do we know the total? Do we know how many markers she has all together? We do. We know that she has 15 markers all together that she can share between the 3 of us, right? So there's 3 teachers and there are 15 markers all together. So I'm going to set up that problem right here. I'm going to already set up my number sentence just so I have it. So I know that I had what was my total? Remember in division, our total always goes first. We had 15, right? And then how many groups did we have? How many people were they splitting in between? What she was sharing with 3 people, right? So she was sharing, this was the number of groups. And we need to find, oops, can't see that. We need to find right here the size of the group. So how many did she share with us each? Okay, well let's draw a picture. Let's figure this out. Okay, so here is one. I'm gonna do an array to figure this out. I know I have 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, right? So now I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have a total of 15, right? So, and I have 3 groups. How many are in one group? How many are in one group? Think about that. On my snap, can you tell me how many are in this group? 5, right? I have 5 here. I have 5 here and 5 here, right? So how many do I have? What I need to figure out is what's the size of my group? How many are in this group? 5. That's what we were trying to figure out. So our total was 15. We divided it by 3 teachers, and each of us got 5 markers. That was so nice of Miss Barksdale to do that. Okay, here we go. So now I want you to think about what I just did, right? 15 divided by 3 equals 5, right? So I have the total. I have the number of groups. And I have the size of the group. So how many were in each group? How does this problem, now this is your critical thinking, right? You got to use your background knowledge about what we've learned already in lessons 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so use your background knowledge. How does this problem relate to multiplication? How does this problem, division, relate to multiplication? It relates because division is the opposite of multiplication. Oh my goodness, you learned something new today. It's the opposite. So in multiplication, I have 3 groups, and I have 5 in each group, and my total is 15. Do you see how they relate? Really cool, right? So it's the opposite. We're going to try and remember that in 3rd grade. Okay, let's go on. All right, this is Diana. She arranged her star stickers. She got these amazing star stickers from her teacher, and she arranged them, okay, into, looks like 3 groups here. What does 12 represent? Think about, what do you think 12 represents here? You might have guessed that 12, if you were to count up all these stars, 12 is the total. Now, what does 3 represent? What do you think? Oh, pause if you want a little extra time to think. 3 equals the number of groups. Aha! So this is the number of groups. And what does 4 represent? Think about it. Pause the video if you need to. It's the number in each group, the number of stars, right? The size of the group. Very cool. Let's write our numbers. Now that we know what division is and how to set it up, let's go ahead and do that. Let's write a number sentence for this. So blank divided by blank equals blank. What do we always put first? Should we put 3 first, 4 first, or 12 first? On my snap, 12, right? We always put the total first in division. Always, 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 always. Okay? Now we're going to put the number of groups. On my snap, how many groups? 3. And now we're going to figure out what is the size of each group. On my snap, 4. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. Ooh, I'm going to get a little tricky here. What is the multiplication sentence for this? Think about what would be the multiplication sentence for this. I'll put it up here. Pause it if you want to think for a little bit. It would have been 3 times 4 equals 12. Great job. Okay, now it's your turn. Now we're going to practice, okay? I need you to get your whiteboard, your expo marker, and your eraser. Pause if you need to get that stuff. All right. So we have 10 stars here. 10 stars in total, all together. And we're going to divide these stars into 2 equal groups. 1, 2. So this is the question. There are blank flowers in each group. Not flowers. Oops, did I put flowers? Stars. How many stars are in each group? There are, I want you guys to pause if you need some time to think. You should have put 5. And you don't have to write all this, okay? You can just put the answer on your whiteboard. And now down here, let's do the division sentence for this. 10, that was our total. Remember, the total always goes first. Divided by the number of groups. How many groups do we have? 2 groups equals the size of the group, of each group. Write down your answer on your whiteboard. See if you get it right. Pause if you need to. And you should have gotten 5. Good job, you guys. Okay, last one, and then you're going to do your independent work. Here we go. There are blank toys in each group. There are blank toys. Oh, I don't know why I kept spelling these wrong. Triangles. That's okay. I'm making mistakes today. There are blank triangles in each group. So look at each group, each row. Remember, rows and groups are the same. How many triangles are in each row? There are, go ahead and write it on your whiteboard. There are 4, right? 4 triangles in each group. So now let's look at the division sentence. We know our total. If I was to add all my triangles up, I would have 12, right? 4, 8, 12. That's my total. 12 divided by number of groups. Or rows. 1, 2, 3 rows equals, what does it equal? This is the size of each group. It equals 4. All right, my sweets. You guys are going to do a great job on your independent work. I just know it. Remember to take a picture and send it to me in Seesaw if you're in Miss Kellogg's class, however she wants you to submit it, maybe Class Dojo, I'm not really sure. But I want to see those answers.